And now it's time, and it's my pleasure to bring to the podium one of our own, Brigadier General John E. Novalis, the Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations with the Multinational Corps, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, located in Poland, who will give us some insight into the changing face of the Army with aviation in Europe. John.
Thanks, sir. Well, thank you all for taking your morning a little bit here to listen to us. I want to thank Quad A for inviting me. It's a real privilege to be up here to actually talk a little bit about the challenges in Europe. The topic today for me was actually aviation challenges, and to be quite honest, there's some experts over in Europe right now that could probably give that brief a hell of a lot better than me. And that's, I think Ken Cole's out here. Ken, are you out here? Yeah, great. So really, we could probably talk a lot about the tactical area, but I'm probably going to elevate my discussion here today slightly towards European and NATO's conflict right now, and what they're trying to work through with some of the issues. So before I get off that though, Ken will probably be able to highlight some of this, but aviation right now in Europe, there are some struggles. Distributed operations, obviously. We have our aviation community spread across multiple different countries all at the same time. Sustainment concerns. How do we get our force into Europe? How do we move them forward? Do we have the right structure to actually get them into the fight? Forced entry and communications. Those are all big things that Ken and First ACB are working off of every single day. Right now, our communications is, and I'll discuss that a little bit here in the future, but that is one of NATO's #1 priorities right now. So, elevating this a little bit, we all can agree that our enterprise must be focused on countering our future adversaries. And those are Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, cyberspace, and trans-regional terrorists. Obviously, Russia is my focus, and I can emphatically tell you there's 3 or 4 things about this adversary, and we should all be very careful about them. Russia is continuously upgrading his capabilities to counter our advantages, from tanks to aircrafts to nuclear capabilities. We see it every single day. Russia is in a continuously large-scale training exercise. He tests his tactics, he tests his equipment, and he does it on a grand scale every single day. We see it every single day. If there's not a week does not go by that Russia's not doing something on a large scale to defeat and practice his tactics. Russia is continuously upgrading and expanding his A2AD systems, especially in the Kaliningrad enclave. Just 2 weeks ago, he moved some extraordinary equipment into the Kaliningrad enclave, and we watched it happen. He flew it in, set up his stuff, and is continuously upgrading his procedures. So as we look at aviation in the European theater, we have to understand this particular enemy. The question we must ask ourselves is, can we keep pace? Can we get inside our decision cycle of research, decision-making, production, and fielding? And currently, I'm saying our answer is no. He's quick. Our adversaries do it better than us. He doesn't wait for red tape. He gives them direction, and they move out. And we see it on the battlefield every single day as he moves forward. And that is obviously a challenge for us. We have a lot of loopholes and production stuff that we have to go through. And frankly, by the time we produce something, he's already produced something to counter that. So we have to be able to speed up our ability to do this. There's no doubt that we will not fight alone. Strong allies and organizations such as NATO will be our key to success. And then you can see that here, obviously, at Quad A. And we have a lot of our friends here, a lot of our allies, and that includes some folks from NATO. As most of you know, the Russian incursion into Ukraine set off a number of decisions. And one is the deployment of the enhanced forward presence task force battalions into 4 separate countries. UK into Estonia, Canada into Latvia, Germany into Lithuania, and of course the United States into Poland. But what you may not know is inside of those task forces, there's 8, 9 different countries, as small as a company, that have been integrated into those enhanced forward presence battalions. So the buzzword is currently in NATO is interoperability, which was discussed yesterday in a panel, but it's worth repeating. So as NATO is struggling with interoperability issues, and with the SACEUR's guidance currently, we are moving forward. And here are a few concepts and examples that are being scrutinized right now. One is mission command. There is a lack of common networks. And I know that General Tate, who fought this for 2 years over there, will agree with me that NATO still, our allies still have not figured out this common network. We all know mission command, the key to mission command is you got to communicate. And right now, our systems do not communicate with hardly anybody in the world. We forced our allies to go to us. Now, that is a good solution up to this point. But in the European security environment, that may not be possible. So, common network. There is no common network, at least not in the European theater, and not currently in NATO. 2, training. Are we ready to fight a large-scale combat operation in a European theater? Go back 30 years, we had forces in Europe all the time. Big, large ones, we all know that. We knew our terrain, we knew our ground. Our enemy, our adversaries, especially Russia, he knows his terrain and he knows his ground. And right now, I'm not sure that even NTC is replicating what we need to do. I know that China Lake is open now, and we are flying some operations into China Lake, but that A2AD environment is something that we really have to get after, and that's definitely a future for our training. Sustainment. We're struggling. NATO is struggling with APODs, SPODs. How do you get large American forces into theater as they compete with the host nation and they compete with other NATO allies? This is an issue, and there's some great working groups that are trying to get through that issue set. Doctrine. Doctrine must include our allies and their capabilities. We have gaps in our capabilities that our allies are strong in, and we should be able to use that and utilize them in our current doctrine. And as we do our training, every opportunity that we can utilize our friends and our allies into our training, we should try to do that. So I didn't want to be a doom guy up here, but those are some of the struggles. The topic of struggles in Europe or some of our issues kind of leads us to that discussion. So I'm going to leave you with this following run-on question. Are we reducing the gap between our current capabilities and our adversary while following the Chief of Staff of the Army's modernization priorities? Are we creatively modernizing, which enables us to leverage our NATO allies and our friends in a large-scale combat operation in a complex tactical environment? That's the problem set that we have to work on every single day to be better. Our adversary is doing it, and I guess I suggest that we need to also do the same focus. All right, that's all I got. I appreciate it, and I think I gave everybody a little bit of time to go get a bathroom break. All right, thank you.